like Tacitus, earthborn gods, tying tribes to soil. Pulling from Vilhelm Grönbech's The Culture of the Teutons, that Danish firebrand who peeled back the layers of our ancestor soul. This tree pulses with honor, the very life force of the clan. Grönbech hammers it. Honor isn't personal pride, it's the clan's shared soul, as vital as blood. Lose it and you pine away to death, turning nithing, wolfman, beast outside humanity. The folk's one huger, mind, will, desire, shared like breath. Kinsmen feel each other's wounds, one dishonor phase the world. Or dooms the whole, rather. Germs of death in the organism. Frith, that unbreakable kin piece, the fence, where no genius bends the chain. Solitary? If you're solitary, decays like Havamal's lone fir, barkless, leafless, rotting. As Havamal stanza 50 says, the fir tree withers that stands on the farmstead, neither bark nor needles protect it. So it is with the man whom no one loves. How should he live for long? We need to belong to a tribe, in other words. But aligned? The clan drags you to glory. Your ambition, their weird, prolonged. Grönbech expands. Luck, Hamingja, is the clan's inherited power. A personified force radiating from ancestors, entering weapons, fogging foes' minds, as in sagas where heroes Hamingja turns battles. Nidhinger status strips this luck, exiling one to beastly decay, as honor's loss infects the soul like disease. Fuhlkunninger, much knowing seers wield manifold luck, degraded to sorcerer by Christians, but truly the clan's resident wisdom keepers. So that's the Fuhlkunninger. I guess that's our term, the Old Norse term for something like a shaman. Olaf Tryggvason's Hamingja versus Pagan Raud, both Hamrammer shapeshifters, but the field favors the victor's aligned faith. The soul's no individual ghost, it's the clan's homogeneous whole, impregnated with victory, wisdom, personality. Harm one stave in the kin fence, the whole trembles. Grönbech cites sagas where one kinsman's shame fells the family like a rotting trunk. And yeah, Tryggvason, Olaf the lawbreaker, was righteously slain in battle. Freaking awesome. Alright, Grönbech's Berserker and Hamrammer. Soul strength manifesting, shape-shifting, fury, and invulnerability. That's the field's surge. Hamingja, luck as personified soul, radiating warmth, entering weapons, fogging enemies' minds. Fuhlkunninger, much knowing, wielding luck manifold, degraded as... Didn't I just read that? Yeah. I don't know why that's here twice. But in truth, the clan's wise resonance. Olaf... Oh, I heard that too. Okay, the soul's no individual ghost. It's the clan's homogeneous whole, impregnated with victory, wisdom, personality. Arm one stave in the kin fence, and the whole trembles. Enter Rupert Sheldrake, the iconoclastic biologist whose TED Talk got banned for daring to say the cosmos is a developing organism, not an eternal machine. The self-chosen spawn of Nidhugg Typhon Set. Didn't like what he had to say. His morphic fields, invisible organizers carrying memory via resonance. Past patterns groove the present, non-local like a species, collective, unconscious. Past forms and behaviors resonate with current ones, making habits cumulative, like the layers in the well of weird. This explains why embryos self-organize. What has happened before becomes easier and more likely to happen again. It's non-local. Influences transcend ordinary space-time like a kind of collective inherited memory. Genes, they're the materials. They're the structure that allow the fields to impose form. Species as collective organism. Every foxglove resonates with past ones, stabilizing its field. Learned behavior spread. Rats maze faster in labs, continents apart. Birds adapt non-locally. Take Sheridan's blue tits example. In the 1920s, UK blue tits learned to peck milk bottle caps for cream. The trick spread across Europe, Holland, Sweden, Denmark, faster than migration, suggesting resonance, not just imitation. That's folk soul awakening. Enough kin reclaim roots, and the field makes it easier for others. Sheldrake's 200-plus trials bolster this. Dogs anticipating owner's return non-locally, as in his telephone telepathy experiments where subjects guess callers at 45% accuracy. All right. Apply this to the folk. Yggdrasil is our morphic field. Roots in Mannus Halfdan's weird, ancestral resonance. Trunk in Grönbech's frith, self-organizing soul. Branches in fame or evolving habits. And the dew could be souls. The individual souls. Individual drops emerging from and returning to the collective. So the dew are the individual souls. Nidhugger, gnawing at the roots. That's lost resonance from dishonor, fragmenting the organism. Foreign attacks that cause lost resonance, like Christianity cutting us off from our roots. Odin's ride, the awakener's frenzy. Older surging, aligning the field like Sheldrake's iron filings, magnetizing. Here's a politically incorrect idea. This is essentialist. Descent from Mannus Halfdan defines the field. Universal heathenry, this is subversive poison. Outsiders or Utlandir pretend to tune in, but they are unable to. Imagine Zoroastrians opening to all. Their fire would die. Shinto without Yamato blood, that would be tourist trash. Asatra's endogamous, closed like a sacred grove. No, it's not blind hatred of others. It's a birch tree that must stay a birch, rather than many other tree branches being grafted in. Other folk have their own tree and their own gods to honor, which will empower them. Pretenders? The LARPers misappropriating, like whites going native and littering campgrounds with beer cans. The self-hating, virtue-signaling whites. They trash the well of weird, sever roots, turn the tree to rot. Real heathens? Or real Asatruar? We resonate with Odin's frenzy, Older surging through the field, awakening battles, poetry, sovereignty. Look at the data, Ken. We aren't just believing in a tree. We are describing a biological and morphic reality. When Tacitus spoke of the 3 tribes of Mannus, he was describing a genetic isolate. Today, population genetics confirms it. The Germanic cluster is one of the most distinct in the world, but it's not just about SNPs and nucleotides. The 3 sons of Mannus loosely map to Y DNA haplogroups like R1b, which hits 60 to 80% in Western Europe, Ingevons, Istevons, territories like Ireland, Wales, Basque, peaking over 80% in Atlantic fringes. originating from Yamna steppe migrations about 3000 before Common Era, bringing Indo-European languages and chariots to Europe, as per ancient DNA from corded ware cultures. In Scandinavia and northern Germany, I think that's I1 or L1, the ultra-Nordic marker clocks 35 to 40%, highest in Sweden, at up to 52% in regions like Västra Götaland, pre-Germanic, from Nordic Bronze Age, about 1700 before Common Era, tied to pre-Proto-Germanic hunter-gatherers admixing with steppe invaders. This isn't coincidence. It's Weird's fingerprint. R1b U106 subclade peaks in Frisia, Netherlands, at 40 to 50%, marking Proto-Germanic expansions from Jastorf culture about 500 before Common Era. Compare the Parsis, Zoroastrians in India, who maintain strict endogamy to stay separate as a distinct ethnic and religious group, prioritizing blood fidelity over growth, like our closed grove. Their 2011 census count was 51,264, with ongoing low fertility. Well, that's them in India. They've got issues in India. In 2023, estimates hover at 50 to 60,000, bolstered by initiatives like Geo-Parsi for fertility support. They still exist as a cohesive people because they refuse dilution or assimilation, which is what we need to start doing. Become an endogamous group. Zero would be far worse than any percentage drop. Endogamy keeps their fire burning, their identity intact, even as numbers test them, with mitochondrial DNA studies showing about 75% Iranian ancestry preserved despite Indian admixture. If Rupert Sheldrake is right, and the 200-plus trials on Morphic Resonance suggest he is, then our ancestors' habits are literally vibrating in our DNA. Every time you refuse to lie, every time you stand for your kin, you are tuning in to a field that is thousands of years old. When we allow universalist subversion, we create morphic noise. We blur the signal. That's why the LARPers feel empty. They have the costume, but they've cut the wire to the source.